Hello everyone, this is Luxon. Welcome to my first patch review in forever that's actually been able to come out before the patch because there's a Sunday in between getting the patch notes and the day it actually dropped. So the day you see this, the patch actually won't be coming out for another 2 days. It'll be releasing on Tuesday the 12th, while this video should be coming out the 10th if I actually remember to upload it on time. And this is kind of a big one because it's going to bring the fabled 4th ranked mode Clam Blitz into the game. Now, obviously, since I'm recording this beforehand, I can't really talk about that, but obviously Clam Blitz can get its own video in the future, just due to personal timing things, I won't be able to upload for like 2 weeks after this comes out, so it won't be immediate, but probably my next Sunday Splatoon video will be Clam Blitz related. But that doesn't mean that I can't talk about everything else. So, the changes to multiplayer alteration, like bullet list. The first bullet is you added Clam Blitz. After you've played Clam Blitz once, you can select it as a PB option, and that's all it says about it. It doesn't actually specifically say that there are any changes related to it in terms of the other alterations. So not having played Clam Blitz before doesn't really affect the review, since it's a review of the changes, not of the mode itself. First off are tons of bug fixes, which kind of makes sense, because there were a lot of stuff that was not fixed last time, and a couple new maps had some interesting problems too. So they fixed another thing, where if you were in a wall, you could take damage through it, which I've actually noticed happen before. Like, of all the weird bugs that they fixed, that's the one that I've probably been affected by the most. So that's cool, because my really stupid sharking playstyle, I get hurt by that in stupid ways a lot, so I'm going to take that. Same thing with wall umbrella, basically. Sturgeon bug that let you ink a wall that you couldn't actually swim on. I don't really know why that's a problem. There was a bug in Moray where the zone border would be, I guess, the incorrect color, or it wasn't on the actual border of the zone, which I don't know how they didn't, if it was the second part, I don't know how they didn't catch that until now, but I don't know. Fixed the Manta Maria glitch where if you splash down, you'd go out of bounds and die. That's a good, I haven't had that one happen to me before, but I've seen it, and it's a pretty good one. Turf War bug in Manta Maria. I don't know if I've ever played Manta Maria in Turf War, but apparently something that shouldn't be inkable was inkable. Okay. Good job not fixing that until now, I guess. I don't know. Fixed an issue where you could fixed a problem where you could get into the opponent's spawn in Manta TC. Unfortunate because my team likes spawn camping. Fortunate because I won't get spawn camped. I don't know, that was kind of neutral. Like, again, with all these bug fixes, I don't really have anything to say, because unless they, like, fix something that was being exploited to make the game more competitive, like, there's nothing, like, wave dashing in Splatoon 2, where it's like, this is a thing that wasn't intended, but because we can do it, it makes the game so much more competitive. No, like, all the competitive tech was clearly intended, so any bug fixes are just going to be good no matter what. But, let's see. Snapper Canal had a bunch of problems, and so did Blackbelly, I guess. Yeah, most of these problems are Mako Mart, Snapper, and Blackbelly. So, let's see. Snapper. Bombs would disappear sometimes when hitting a wall without exploding. They fixed that. You could ink underneath obstacles in the center of the map in Snapper, which I think that means, like, either the big block thing in mid that's there in the middle of the zone, or inflatables. So that's good. That makes zones a little less stupid. Although, actually, I like Snapper zones, in honesty. But whatever, it's a good 96 map. Let's see. Blackbelly, you could jump higher than normal near your spawn and go over obstacles. I don't know how that, like, programming-wise, that bug would even be put in the first place, but okay, that's fixed. There's another weird wall glitch in Blackbelly with a bomb that was fixed. Blackbelly TC, you could climb over a wall that you weren't intended to be climbed over. That doesn't say out of bounds or anything. I think it just means you could, like, get over their sniper or something by jumping off the tower at the right point, or get somewhere you shouldn't be able to just from tower. So they fixed whatever that was. And here we go. All the Make 'em art fixes, even though there are only like 3 of them, but it needs some fixes. Again, a weird wall issue. It's worded as if a certain wall was hit with a bomb, ink would splash onto a nearby wall that players were occasionally unable to submerge into. I guess that means that if that wall was inked, you could sometimes not swim in it for whatever reason. So they made it so you can swim in it, I think. Camera issue. Okay. I mean, they need to fix the camera in the game. That's not the right camera fix they need to do, but it's a start. It was just a way you could clip the camera through a certain element of the scenery, but that's good. And the tower path was fixed. There was apparently a glitch where you could get stuck between the tower and a wall and pushed out of bounds. So they fixed that. They fixed the splashdown tower bug. You could also use the tower in a splashdown to clip through the map and die. So they fixed that too. They fixed Brella power shielding. That's unfortunate. Oh well. I mean, it was definitely a bug, but it makes the Brella less good, I guess. You could close your Brella at the exact moment a bomb exploded, and you'd just not take any damage. So they got rid of that. Fixed a rare issue in which 2 inkstorm clouds would be generated when a player directly hit a splash wall or Brella with an inkstorm. I don't know how that happened. Like, how that was implemented by accident in the first place, but okay. That makes sense. Don't double inkstorms. Oh, wow, they actually said killed instead of splatted in these patch notes. I've never seen that before. It's interesting. So it says, if a player using the inkjet touches water and is forcibly returned to their original position, they would be treated as if drowning, depending on the place. So I guess that means if you touch water with inkjet, you'll automatically get sent back and you won't die. Because that was inconsistent. Sometimes if you went out of bounds or went in water, you'd go back to where you started, like if the time on the inkjet ran out, but sometimes you just die. So I think they worded it to mean that you'll always go back to the beginning. So that means all weird offstage inkjet strats are back in play, which is pretty good. Fixed another camera bug with Splashdown. Splashdown just kind of breaks everything. They really should have fixed the camera for it, or tested the camera when they made it go up higher initially during that buff. And fixed lighting during Splatfest so you can actually tell the ink colors apart. That's good. I mean, it would be nice to like reduce the particle effects in general, so you could like actually see what you're doing in more cases, but that's definitely a Splatfest problem. Let's see. Only 4 sets of weapons actually had changes, and surprisingly, they're all really small. Blasters can move faster out of shooting. They get a 7-frame buff to when they can start moving again, which is pretty good. This is only vanilla and custom blaster, so not range. So just regular blaster, custom blaster, and then hero replica. Dualies got a 2-point damage buff. Again, this is all regular dualies, nothing about Gluga or anything like that. Just regular end parry and hero replicas. Then Brella got nerfed, vanilla Brella and hero replica, and the custom Brella isn't even out actually. So let's see, narrowed turf coverage per shot, increased ink consumption by 10%, increased damage the umbrella takes from blasters and chargers by a decent amount, and then ranged blaster takes 10 more points to charge special. Okay, I mean, I play vanilla blaster, I play vanilla dualies, I'll take it. I don't really use ranged blaster for the ink storm, so I'll take it. Like, these are all pretty good. Like, I don't really mind anything. It's all pretty nice. Now here's the big point. This patch is actually, and unfortunately, because this video is going up before the patch, and because I can't tell exactly what they're talking about without seeing the original version and the changed version, I can't really show what they're actually changing in terms of map geometry. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maps all got some sort of change. Muscle Forge changed terrain in all battle types, which is ridiculous, hopefully in a good way. And then reduced obstacle amount, and adjusted placement of objects near the middle of the map. So I guess that means it's easier to get in zone or get to whatever the objective at the middle is. I don't know. Can't really... There wasn't even a trailer for this patch, like only just Clam Blitz, and you can't really see the differences from there. So basically, it got objects shifted around. Pretty much all of these changes just say change terrain in all battle types, adjusted placement of objects near mid and reduced obstacles, and adjusted placement of other objects. That, if that's not the same for a specific map, I'll point that out, and then I'll point everything out other than that. So assume that there were some slight obstacle changes in all modes, unless I say otherwise. So for Starfish, besides that, is added a slope going up to the stage. So I think that means that there's another ramp leading into mid now, which is interesting. It might make zones a bit easier. I think it might mean that if you go straight through from spawn, you won't have to climb another wall up to the stage. It'll just be a slope, which is interesting for faster early pushes, which kind of works because the beginning of Starfish Rainmaker is actually decently slow. Humpback only got object positioning changes in tower control. Greatly adjusted the path of the tower. I think that means that the checkpoints won't just be under a thing for the entire map. Like just under a ledge. Oh, you could shoot the tower while it's sitting there for 20 seconds. I think that's what it means. Added another ink rail from each team's base towards the center. Possibly I think that just means tower control. So, like, I'm pretty sure that's just the ink rail that's there in Rainmaker is there in tower control now, too. And then adjusted obstacle placements. Inkblot Art Academy got some Rainmaker changes, added a few new platforms leading into mid from the left and right. Okay, that's interesting. So you don't have to take the one slope or climb up those boxes. It's just more platforms. Increase the size of the boxes on left and right, like the ones that you can use to jump into the enemy's plat. So those are bigger, and adjusted the look to match the stage. So I guess they just got some texture updates to look more like the aesthetic of the rest of the map. Added another inkable box for climbing to a high point in the opponent's base. So I think that means you can get up to the high ledge really close to their spawn point. I think this just means you can get closer to their spawn. And then adjusted some more object positions in spawn points. And then for tower control, it looks like just the same changes on left and right that let you get up into mid easier. So it's pretty cool. Moray got the regular changes as well as some ink rail tweaks. So it just says adjusted trajectory, so I guess the positioning of those are just a little different, as well as the width of the platform beneath them, so I guess it's easier to get off them without falling or something. That makes sense. And then outside of Splatfest, reduce the brightness of the sun and reduce the disparity in visibility between teams. So again, you can see which team's ink is which again more easily. I never really had a problem with that on Moray. Like, I only really had that problem in Splatfest because of the sheen effect that it gets from being at night, but sure, that's still a good change. Then Port, adjusted shape of the sponges near starting point in Rainmaker, and added Rainmaker free zones in mid above the crates, which is pretty cool. So that's Rainmaker specific changes. I guess that means you can't camp it in mid as much, which is pretty good. I don't really know what the sponge shape changes will really do. I guess that could make it easier to either stop a push or get a push going, because it is pretty easy, even if you're really outplayed, to stop someone from dunking on Port Rainmaker. So we'll have to see what that means. And then Snapper Canal got the same sun brightness decrease and ability to see ink colors apart better that Moray did, but that was its only change. And then Salmon Run got a few tweaks. Fixed a bug that would let you get stuck in between objects in the terrain in Salmon and Smokeyard. Fixed a DC bug where that would screw up the golden egg count for everyone who didn't DC if someone DC'd while putting an egg in the basket. So I think that just means, like, it probably like stores the information about when they put the egg in faster. So like it transmits that there's a new egg in the basket faster than it would before. So if they DC right while they're putting it in, it will still count instead of going down one, which is good, I guess. I mean, I tend to avoid solo Salmon Run anyway, so I don't really have to deal with DCs that much, but I'll take it. There was a desync bug about scrappers where they would sometimes be killed or sometimes not be killed in different players' screens if they were destroyed by either bouncing back a Drizzler bomb or by exploding a steelhead. So they fixed the desync and fixed an issue in which... Oh, I've seen this one. The guys that hold boxes, I think the mothership ones that come flying in with the boxes, if you shoot them while they're holding a box, and sometimes the box would be displayed on other people's screens and sometimes not. It's another desync thing where sometimes a box would show up if there shouldn't be one, like if you killed the guy and he dropped his egg, the box would still be there, and other times the box would disappear when it shouldn't have, like if you killed him after he dropped it, then enemies would come out of an invisible box, so that works. Fixed a bug in story mode, which is kind of interesting. I would have thought that single player was at least fully bug tested. And there's a bug with the hero splatling. When jumping on a grind rail, the weapon would screw up and prevent you from shooting until you squidded and unsquidded again. Okay, I already 1000%ed story mode like month 1. I don't really need to worry about that, but I guess if you're newly getting the game, that's good. Almost makes me wonder if there's going to be another mid-December patch to like prepare the game for the holiday crowd, because a lot of people, even people from the competitive community, are only just going to be getting their Switches or their copy of the game now for the holidays, so it's kind of interesting. It is good. This kind of only just hit me. It is really good that they're putting Clam Blitz in the beginning of December. And like early December too, so like they weren't just like, okay, we can wait for late December, put this in beforehand, so we can like force new people, old people to start playing to get their Clam Blitz rank up too. And then there's the Christmas crowd stuff. They thought of Hanukkah too. Like, this is coming out before Hanukkah, so like they did a good with this, I have to say. I didn't think about that until right now, but okay. Fixed some bugs in Spectator mode, which is good. Spectator mode is always... So anything made better about Spectator mode is good in a competitive context. Unified the direction of the top-down camera and turf map in Kelp Dome. When focused on a given player, their opposing team's D-pad notifications are no longer displayed. So like if you were focusing on a blue team player, you'd still see like the booyahs and ouches from the orange team, but now you'll only see the ones from the blue team. So you'll only see the booyahs, commands, and ouches from whatever team you're focusing on, which makes more sense. It really should be, if you're focusing on an individual player, you should basically just see their feed. I think they're just making it closer to that. Adjust the direction of the turf map on Mako Mart to make it the same way as every other map. It's pretty good. Adjusted the order of display for the guide button for changing perspective and the mark indicating the player holding the Rainmaker. I think that just means that's just UI changes, I think, to make it more clear who's holding the Rainmaker and how to change perspective. And then a couple bug fixes about ink mines. Bravo Team's mines would sometimes show up as Alpha Team's color, and switching between players would screw up the icon for an ink mine being buried. So they fixed that. Cool, Spectator mode's working better, that's always good. Then other changes, fixed an issue in which after repeatedly winning in League Battle or Splatfest team battle, players would occasionally be disconnected after the results are recorded but proceeding to the next battle. See, I always thought that was an internet problem. Like, if you were going up against people with bad internet, or whoever was hosting the League or Splatfest group had worse internet than you or something, then you would sometimes be DC'd. Because that's happened to me a lot, and I have, like... I'm running on, like, 100 down, 100 up college Wi-Fi through Ethernet right now. I shouldn't be having any internet problems on my Switch at all, and I haven't been except for that situation. So it's good to know that that was a bug and not like me getting screwed over by someone else's internet. So they actually fixed that, which is really cool. Bug fix in Splatfest lobbies, or Splatfest Plaza, where Off the Hook would stop moving in the background if you took pictures with an amiibo in places other than in Inkopolis. So, like, if you used an amiibo to take a picture in, like, one of the maps or something, and then moved back to the, like, Inkopolis Square hub, Off the Hook would just stop dancing. I don't know how that got screwed up. I guess they had to, like, freeze their models to accommodate for the posing the amiibo character, but that's pretty funny. And they did the same bug fix of being able to hurt people through the walls with splashdown in the testing area. You could hurt targets through the wall there, so they fixed that. And that's Splatoon 2 version 2.1.0. Overall, unless the map changes make them bad, I think we're dealing with a pretty good patch. There aren't any questionable main weapon changes. There aren't really as many nerfs as people would be expecting, but we also did kind of just get out of 2.0, and they really only drop, like, the massive patches every couple months. Because, like, let's see. It hasn't been a month since 2.0. That's what leads me to believe there's going to be a late December, early January patch as well. Because they're going to be using a lot of data. They're going to be taking the new Clan Blitz data, as well as the huge influx of players that get the game over December. So that's why I'm thinking mid to late January, we're going to get another huge bombshell patch that's going to probably start rounding out the game for its final push as they start releasing all the remaining weapons. So that leads me to believe that I won't be making one of these for a little while. And stay tuned for the next couple of weeks, because after that, I'm going to be starting making videos a bit faster. As you know, Chronicles X is going to come out a bit more frequently until the series is finished, and I'm going to go back to weekly Splatoon videos. So, until next time, this is Luxon, signing off.